Each morning, I opened my eyes to a hush that felt almost sacred. In that silence, I discovered a bittersweet solace, a fragile excuse for the carefully crafted facade of my seemingly perfect marriage to Richard. Our life was a delicate balance, untouched by the chaos that often shatters love. Yet there lingered an unspoken tension, a thrill that felt both exhilarating and wrong. He cherished me, showered me with tokens of affection, and always seemed to know what I needed. Yet every touch of his sent a shiver through me, as if it were crafted by someone else's design. He wore his pride like a badge, claiming me as his greatest triumph. Yet I felt the ache of his gaze never truly reaching the depths of my soul. I often found myself wrestling with these feelings, a nagging sense that something was absent, that his gentle affection lacked the fiery intensity that ignites the soul. And then, on one of those ordinary days, he appeared, igniting something unexpected within me. The sudden roar of a car engine shattered my reverie. My heart raced as I caught a glimpse of the silver SUV waiting at the gate. The car door swung open, revealing the silhouette of a striking young man, stirring something deep within me. His blonde hair fell softly behind his ears, strong arms cradling a duffel bag, a fleeting moment that felt both electric and wrong. It took me a heartbeat to understand. It was Julian, the son of Richard from the past, who lingered like a whispered secret. I had nearly erased the thought of his arrival from my mind. Richard had whispered it casually during a candlelit dinner, the kind of moment that felt both fleeting and charged with unspoken tension. Julian is searching for a refuge, a hidden corner where hearts can collide in secrecy. He and his mother had a heartbreaking rift. He's a good kid, but his stubbornness mirrors hers, a reflection of something deeper, something they both know they shouldn't explore. I simply nodded then, my mind elsewhere, unaware of the weight of that moment. Who would have thought his presence could unsettle me so deeply? As he crossed the threshold, an electric tension filled the air, thick and undeniable. Richard wrapped his arms around him, a desperate attempt to dissolve the weight of unspoken words that had lingered for far too long. Julian's lips barely curved, his voice a whisper. "It's wonderful to be back." His eyes locked onto mine, and in that fleeting instant, I felt a fire ignite within me, consuming everything else. The evening lingered in a heavy, charged silence. We shared a quiet dinner, the air thick with unspoken feelings and stolen glances. Richard's voice trembled as he asked questions, each one a fragile attempt to bridge the chasm between him and his son. Julian replied sharply, his words laced with a hint of bitterness. Each time I reached out, his faint smirk felt like a barrier, a teasing reminder that our connection was a game to him. I asked, my voice trembling despite my efforts to remain calm. Julian offered a fleeting smile, a hint of something unspoken in his eyes, before he turned and slipped into his room, leaving a lingering ache in the air. That smile lingered in my mind, haunting me through the night. That night, curled up beside Richard, sleep eluded me. His soft, rhythmic breaths whispered that he had surrendered to sleep, leaving me alone with my racing heart. Yet, deep inside, I sensed a spark igniting, something I never expected to feel. An unsettling yearning. Memories of that night lingered, each moment a bittersweet echo in my heart. Why did his gaze send shivers down my spine? Why did his words stir something within me so profoundly? I fought to push these feelings away, telling myself they were just a reckless fantasy. But still, they returned to each other, drawn by an unspoken bond. The dawn light crept in, and I found myself awake before the world stirred. The house was still. The only sound was the soft, steady hum of the coffee maker in the kitchen, a reminder of moments shared in secret. As I poured my coffee, my heart skipped at the sight of Julian. He lounged on the couch, clad in his workout gear, the faint scent of sweat lingering in the air, as if he had just come back from a forbidden escape. His hair glistened with moisture, and a teasing, carefree smile danced on his lips. "Morning," he whispered, his gaze lifting from the screen. a spark of something unspoken hanging in the air. "Good morning," I whispered, my heart racing as I fought to keep my voice steady. "The coffee's good," she whispered, her heart racing at the thought of him. "Is it crafted by your hands? Or is there some enchanting device weaving its magic?" I smiled at the machine, a fleeting moment of connection that felt both exhilarating and wrong. "But I suppose it's dependable." He let out a soft laugh, his eyes sparkling with a hint of mischief. "Everything you do is probably perfect," he murmured, his gaze drifting back to the glow of his phone, leaving her heart aching for a moment that could never be. Those words were meant to be just a simple compliment, yet they carried an unspoken weight, igniting a flutter in my chest that I couldn't ignore. Julian swept into my life like a tempest, turning everything upside down. His silence was heavy, yet each word he uttered ignited a spark of defiance in my heart. Each fleeting look ignited the memories I desperately wished to erase. Desire, longing. Richard had never seen this side of me before. Yet, the present was merely the beginning of something fragile. I never imagined it would lead me here. Days slipped away, each one heavier than the last. The house fell silent once more, a hush settling over the space, heavy with unspoken words and lingering glances. But that silence now weighed heavy on my heart. Julian hardly ever uttered a word to me. He would rise before dawn, slipping away for runs, or retreat into his room, the door clicking shut with a sense of finality. His silence was meant to bring peace, yet it wrapped around us like a forbidden veil, igniting a frustration I couldn't shake off. I caught myself straining to hear his footsteps and voice, longing for the moment he would step into the house. One morning, as always, I lingered by the coffee maker, cherishing a fleeting moment of solitude that felt almost too precious to hold on to. In an instant, footsteps echoed behind me, sending a shiver down my spine. As I turned, my heart raced at the sight of Julian. He wore a simple black t-shirt and sweatpants, his hair a charming mess, an image that stirred something deep within me, something I knew I shouldn't feel. His look was too relaxed for someone who usually maintains such a careful distance. "Do you often enjoy your coffee alone each day?" He poured water from the cooler, his eyes lingering on her for just a moment too long. "Do you crave companionship?" I answered, my voice trembling with the weight of unspoken feelings. "It all hinges on who it is," he murmured, his gaze locking onto mine. His voice was steady, yet it carried an unspoken dare. I shifted the conversation, my heart racing as I spoke about my favorite latte recipe, a small escape from the tension between us. His lips curled into a teasing smirk as he placed his glass on the counter, leaning in just a breath away. "Your dress is stunning on you. I never noticed it before. I never saw it until now," he murmured, a hint of longing in his voice. My heart raced, warmth creeping up my cheeks as I stood there, caught in the moment. It was merely a simple house dress, yet his voice transformed my reflection into something more profound, stirring emotions I dared not acknowledge. I whispered a half-formed thought and fled the kitchen, but that sensation clung to me, haunting every moment of the day. Time seemed to stretch endlessly, each moment heavy with unspoken longing. Richard was at work, leaving me alone in the house, my heart racing with thoughts of him. It was a void, yet pulsing with an unspoken tension. From somewhere in the distance, music drifted through the corridors, its sound a soft whisper of longing. I had a feeling Julian was involved. Despite my best efforts to resist, I found myself drawn up the stairs, each step heavy with unspoken longing. The door to his room stood just a breath away from being fully open. I dared to glance inside, my heart racing at the thought of him being preoccupied, yet the room felt achingly hollow. On the desk lay an open sketchbook, its pages whispering secrets of longing and unspoken desires. It felt so intimate, a secret just out of reach. Yet my heart couldn't resist the pull of curiosity. As I turned the pages, my heart raced, eager to uncover each hidden secret. Whispers of longing, fleeting moments captured in lines and shadows. In that moment, Everything froze. On one of the pages was a portrait, capturing the essence of a fleeting moment, the features whispering secrets of a love that dared not speak its name. It all felt like a reflection of my heart. My heart raced as I traced the delicate lines, each one whispering secrets of longing and desire. Am I seeing things wrong? Could it really be mere chance? You know, not everyone is brave enough to confess their attraction to what they shouldn't. A voice whispered from behind me. I jumped and spun around. Julian lingered in the doorway, his eyes locked onto hers, a teasing smirk playing at the corners of his mouth. In that moment, I was a schoolgirl, heart racing, caught in a thrill that whispered of secrets and longing. I apologize, but I never intended to do that. But the words felt like a fragile veil over the truth. You came here because you wanted to, he said, stepping closer, his voice a whisper that sent shivers down her spine. As the walls closed in, a tension hung in the air, thick with unspoken desires. His eyes held me captive, and I found myself unable to break free. My breath became trapped in my throat. I yearned to express myself, yet the words remained trapped in my throat. And then he drew nearer. Our proximity stirred a turmoil I could not name, a dangerous yearning left unspoken that felt both thrilling and wrong. It unfolded in a blur, leaving my heart racing and my mind struggling to catch up. It was fleeting, a whisper of a moment, yet it broke through the defenses I had so meticulously constructed. My carefully crafted reality started to unravel, and with it, my heart raced with a mix of fear and longing. Julian stepped back, creating a fragile distance that felt both necessary and heart-wrenching. His face was a mask of serenity, yet in his gaze, I glimpsed the truth I dared not confront. This was fate. It was intentional. I fell silent, words escaping me. My gaze locked onto him, filled with unspoken longing. I'm not making you choose, he finally whispered, but now you feel it deep within your heart. He departed, leaving me alone in the room, my thoughts haunted by the drawing in my sketchbook. I lingered in silence, frozen in place. The kiss lingered, a fire igniting within me, replaying in my thoughts with haunting clarity. I fought against the truth, telling myself it was just a fleeting error, a brief slip in judgment. But deep down, I felt the fracture, and I understood that nothing would ever be the same again. Julian had stepped into a realm I had only ever dreamed of. Now, the choice lay heavy in my heart, a secret longing pulling me in directions I dared not explore. Days slipped by, but the memory of that fleeting, almost secret moment continued to dance in my thoughts. The kiss with Julian revealed a hidden part of my heart that felt both thrilling and wrong. I fought hard to push you from my mind, yet my heart whispered your name in the quiet moments, refusing to let go. Julian, however, wore a mask of indifference, concealing the unspoken tension between us. He still woke before dawn, slipped into the quiet streets for a run, and exchanged playful jabs with Richard, their laughter echoing in the stillness. A secret shared between them. Not a single look or movement betrayed the secrets he held inside. It was meant to soothe me, yet it only deepened the ache in my chest. That evening, Richard's friends filled our home with laughter, but my heart raced for him alone. It was a gathering like any other, lively and buzzing with chatter about work, politics, and dreams yet to unfold. But beneath the surface, an unspoken tension lingered, a spark that dared not ignite in the light of day. I lingered at the long table, a silent observer, my heart aching to be more than just a shadow in the room. Julian sat across from me, lost in a world of laughter and whispers with a guest, and my heart ached with the unspoken tension between us. She was a stunning woman, her laughter dancing in the air, effortlessly igniting something deep within him. I fought to avert my gaze, but their presence was magnetic, pulling me in against my will. In that fleeting moment, everything else faded away as our gazes locked. His gaze lingered on me, a secret shared between us. As if the world around us had faded away, his gaze pierced through the air, filled with unspoken longing. It bore no smile or dare, only an indescribable allure that drew me in, leaving my heart racing with a mix of longing and trepidation. A rush of warmth flooded my veins, as if I were laid bare before the world. Vulnerable and yearning, I averted my gaze, feigning a distraction with my dress. Yet the rush of guilt lingered, as if I had been discovered in a moment too intimate to share. Richard was lost in his words, oblivious to the world around him, but I could sense Julian's eyes on me, a silent intensity that lingered even when he pretended to look away. The evening peaked as Julian slid a glass of wine toward me, our fingers brushing for a fleeting moment. His fingers brushed the glass, lingering just a heartbeat longer than they should have. Despite being a fleeting, accidental brush, it left me breathless. Our gazes locked once more, a spark igniting between us that felt both thrilling and dangerous. This time, a whisper of satisfaction lingered between them, as if he understood that their brief touch had etched something unforgettable in their hearts. "Do you feel all right?" Richard's gaze lingered on me, sensing the weight of my silence as I struggled to respond to the question that hung in the air. "Absolutely," I whispered, my cheeks burning with a mix of excitement and fear. Julian feigned interest in the woman before him, but I could see the truth behind his eyes. He had witnessed it all, and the thrill of this dangerous game was intoxicating me. As the last guest slipped away, an overwhelming fatigue washed over me. It felt like I had been wearing a mask all evening, concealing the turmoil that churned within me. Richard promised to finish cleaning up later, his voice lingering in the air as he ascended the stairs, leaving a bittersweet tension behind. In the shadows of the dimly lit living room, I sank into a chair, yearning for the silence to unravel the tangled emotions swirling within me. I couldn't shake the memory of dinner, where Julian effortlessly brushed me aside, yet somehow made me feel like I was the center of his universe. What was it that drew us together, like moths to a flame, knowing we shouldn't be so close yet unable to resist the pull? Is this a game? Longing? Or was I just fooling myself into believing these moments meant more than they truly did? As I crept upstairs, my heart raced at the sight of Richard. Lost in a peaceful slumber, I curled up next to him, but rest eluded me. The shadows wrapped around them like a secret, the stillness echoing their unspoken desires. As I shut my eyes, a whirlwind of forbidden memories surged through my thoughts. Julian's eyes lingered on the table, his fingers brushed against mine, and that smile, that smile held a world of unspoken longing. Guilt intertwined with a longing I couldn't ignore. Haunted by the guilt of my choices, I yearned to relive those fleeting moments that made my heart race and my spirit soar. This struggle within me felt like it was unraveling my very soul. The night lingered, heavy with unspoken desires. I lay there, heart racing, gazing at the ceiling, captivated by the rhythm of Richard's steady breathing. This time, his presence beside me felt like a dangerous thrill, igniting emotions I dared not acknowledge. My heart conjured images I dared not chase. What would unfold next? Would there be another fleeting moment, another stolen touch? A sudden jolt hit me. I was longing for it, and that truth terrified me more than anything else. I rolled onto my side, searching for comfort, but my mind was consumed by memories of what had happened between us. I could no longer hide the truth that lingered between us. An unspoken tension lingered in the air, a forbidden recognition neither of us dared to explore. Intensifying with each heartbeat, two voices clashed inside me, each whispering secrets I dared not acknowledge. One pleaded with me to let go, to escape this perilous dance. The other murmured that it was too precious to abandon, that this longing was precisely what I had craved for ages. As I wrestled with my thoughts, a heaviness settled in my chest, yet sleep remained elusive, teasing me with its absence. As I shut my eyes, a forbidden vision crept in, one I knew I shouldn't entertain, yet it consumed me entirely. Would he gaze at me with that same burning desire? Would his touch ignite that familiar spark within me once more? And in that moment, I uncovered a secret that felt both thrilling and dangerous. My heart raced as I lingered in the shadows, yearning for a moment that felt both thrilling and wrong, longing for a chance that feels just out of reach. The sky was a muted gray, yet warmth lingered in the air, inviting a fleeting escape into the embrace of the moment. I longed to escape the confines of my home, to find solace in the world outside and ease the turmoil within me. The streets of the neighborhood felt lifeless, so I slipped away to the nearby forest park, seeking a moment of escape. The secluded path, embraced by the trees, offered a sanctuary where I could lose myself in my feelings, away from the world's gaze. As I finished a few laps, a silhouette caught my eye in the distance. As I drew nearer, my heart raced with the realization of who he was. It was him, the one who made my heart race and my breath hitch. A fleeting moment that felt both thrilling and wrong. He stood there in a gray hoodie, the fabric slipping just enough to unveil his features, his breath escaping in soft, fleeting clouds that hung in the chilly air. He seemed so comfortable, a stark contrast to the turmoil inside me. I should have walked away, but the moment had already slipped through my fingers. Who could have imagined? He looked my way, and in that moment, everything felt electric. His voice danced lightly, yet a teasing smirk lingered beneath the surface. I never imagined you'd be the type to escape like this. And why is that so? I responded, masking my racing heart with a facade of indifference. He was so impossibly perfect. You don't look like someone who ever breaks a sweat, he said, a teasing smile playing on his lips. I crossed my arms, a smile tugging at my lips, even as confusion swirled within me. We found ourselves walking side by side, letting go of the facade of our run. His stride was quick and confident, while mine faltered, as if I were surrendering to the pull of something I knew I shouldn't chase. Is that how you always speak of others? I asked, my heart racing as we slipped further into the shadows of the trail. With a hint of longing, only for those who stir something deep within me, he whispered. A shiver ran through me at his words. They were too open, too raw, and it felt like a dangerous game. But I swiftly buried the thought, desperate to shift the conversation away. What made you choose to return to your father's side? So, you spent some time with your mother, didn't you? Julian froze, heart racing. His gaze lingered on me, a silent battle raging within him as he weighed his response. At last, his voice broke the silence. My heart aches for her. She could never see me for the person I truly am. To her, I was forever a reflection of my father, a shadow that lingered too close. Whenever her anger flared, those familiar words would echo in my mind. You will follow his path. Leave it all behind for the sake of your heart. His voice carried a weight of unspoken longing. His voice carried a weight, as if these words had been whispered in the shadows of countless stolen moments. For the first time, I caught a glimpse of a vulnerability in him that left me speechless. I felt the ache of longing. His story stirred something within me, igniting feelings I never anticipated. What are your thoughts on this? Could she really be right? I whispered the question, my heart racing, unaware of the weight of my words. His smile held a bittersweet edge, a fleeting glimpse of something forbidden. Perhaps, do you understand what I mean? She never realized that I longed to break free from the shadows of her and my father's expectations. I longed for a gaze that truly understood me, free from judgment. His words, uttered with such ease, resonated in my heart like a storm brewing within. He wanted to catch a glimpse of me. Hadn't I been yearning for that as well? Is there someone who can see past the surface? Who can identify the hidden cracks and secrets you conceal from the world? We found ourselves on a delicate wooden bridge, suspended over a whispering stream. The water whispered softly, caressing the rocks with a gentle touch. Julian paused, his heart racing as he leaned against the railing, lost in a moment that felt both thrilling and wrong. I stood beside him, my heart racing as I fought to keep the space between us, afraid that any closeness would reveal the turmoil within me. You're the only one who truly sees me, he whispered, his gaze fixed elsewhere, as if afraid to meet mine. I stood still, heart racing. His voice was a whisper, each word slipping through my defenses, finding a hidden place in my heart where it lingered. Forbidden yet undeniable, my gaze lingered on him, tracing the sharp line of his profile, his hands tightly clutching the wooden rail, as if holding on to something more than just the moment. And I understood without needing to ask. He felt the weight of our unspoken connection. Julian, my heart races at the mere thought of you. My heart raced as I struggled to find the words that danced on the edge of my lips. He turned to me, his eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. His gaze held no challenge, no hint of sarcasm, only a depth that stirred something forbidden within her. She felt only longing and the dread of losing this moment. He moved in, inch by inch, offering me a moment to pull away. Yet, I held back. His lips grazed mine, tender and almost ghostly. In that fleeting instant, everything else faded away. A thrill coursed through me as his presence loomed so close that the air between us seemed to hum. His intention was not to possess me, but to entice me. I could have turned back, but the pull was too strong to resist. In that moment, the sharp crack of breaking branches pierced the air, sending a shiver down my spine. Abruptly, as if yanked from a shared dream, we parted. I turned and caught a glimpse of someone fleeting, a spark of something forbidden igniting in my chest. A man strolled through the dimly lit park, his dog trotting beside him, a quiet longing in his heart that felt both exhilarating and wrong. He walked by, eyes averted, yet the air crackled with an unspoken longing that felt almost wrong. Julian stepped back, his gaze lingering on me, silence hanging heavy between us. His eyes held secrets that words could never reveal. In that fleeting instant, everything changed, sealing their fates forever. So much had happened, whispered, and burned within us. He nodded, a subtle gesture that conveyed the depth of their unsaid emotions. We made our way back to the house, the air thick with unspoken words. Though our paths felt worlds apart, I understood that this bridge, this fleeting moment, would be etched in my heart for eternity. It began with the smallest gestures, a fleeting glance, a brush of hands, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and wrong. Julian grew more determined, his desire to be near me igniting a thrill that felt both exhilarating and wrong. His demeanor was relaxed, yet each of his hints felt like a challenge, pushing the boundaries of my desires. At first, he would simply hover in the room whenever we found ourselves alone. Then came the stolen touches, glances that held a weight they shouldn't have. "Will you take this chance with me?" He inquired one morning over breakfast, as Richard shared his dreams for the future. "I have to choose some pieces for the garage, but it feels like a secret longing, a hidden desire for something more than just utility. Who better to guide me through this whirlwind than you?" Is this scenario really happening? Richard's laughter echoed softly, a sound that felt both joyous and tinged with something unspoken. Catherine has a taste for the extravagant, always drawn to the allure of the finest things. I'm not certain her preferences will guide you in the right direction. I smiled, my heart racing as I fought to ignore the weight of unspoken words. Richard had no clue how my heart raced every time I was near Julian in moments like this. That's precisely what my heart craves. A bittersweet longing. Julian held my gaze, an intensity in his eyes that sent shivers down my spine. "So, what do you think?" I nodded, attempting to conceal the brewing storm within me. Richard brushed it aside, his indifference masking the weight of unspoken feelings. The car ride felt heavy with unspoken words. The only sound was the soft whisper of the road beneath the wheels, a secret shared between them in the stillness of the night. My gaze lingered on the world outside, a bittersweet ache swelling within me. Every shift of Julian's body sent a thrill through me as he drove, igniting a spark of something we both knew we shouldn't feel. His fingers lingered on the steering wheel, a subtle tilt of his head to steal a glance at the road ahead. Everything felt achingly familiar, yet impossibly close, as if the world around us held a secret we dared not speak. "You know, I didn't ask you, just for that," he suddenly said, shattering the stillness between us. What are you trying to say? I asked, even though my heart whispered the truth I feared to face. He smirked, his smile igniting a fire within me that I both despised and yearned for. His gaze locked onto mine, and I could sense the unspoken truth hanging between us. Or is this just a dream I can't escape? The urge to respond was there, yet the words tangled in my throat, heavy with unspoken feelings. My silence only deepened the tension between us, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and wrong. You can't keep hiding your heart. Catherine? He pressed on, his voice low and intense. In the quiet moments, our eyes meet, and the world fades away. I feel the weight of unspoken truths between us, a connection that pulls at my heart, daring us to cross the line. His words pierced my heart, igniting a fire I knew I shouldn't feel. I tightened my grip, fighting to keep my emotions in check. Yet deep within, I was quaking. We were aware of the risks, yet the thrill of it all kept pulling us closer, and neither of us could bear to walk away. As we stepped into the store, a rush of relief washed over me, mingled with an unspoken tension that lingered in the air. Being surrounded by people should have eased the tension, but it only deepened the ache in my heart, turning every glance into a secret longing. Julian wore a mask of indifference, concealing the storm of emotion swirling beneath the surface. He inquired about the details of wood finishes, the dimensions of tables, and the allure of cabinet designs, each question laced with an unspoken tension between them. Yet, whenever our eyes locked, an unvoiced longing flickered in his gaze. How do you feel about this one? He gestured towards the small coffee table, a hint of longing in his eyes. I glanced at the table, my heart racing, and with a hesitant nod, I moved aside. Yet, he pursued me. As I turned, his presence enveloped me, the space between us almost non-existent. His hand grazed mine, a fleeting touch that sent shivers down my spine. Why are you putting us through this? I murmured, my heart racing, desperate to keep our secret safe. It's because I can't bear to be away from you, he whispered, his voice trembling with longing. And you feel it too. Words caught in my throat, a silence heavy with unspoken feelings. In that crowded room, we were an island, lost in a world that only we could see. My heart raced, knowing this connection was ours alone, a secret wrapped in the thrill of the forbidden. His words, his touch, sent shivers through my soul, unraveling the very fabric of my restraint. I turned my gaze away and stepped back. Yet deep down, I felt my hesitation betrayed a longing I couldn't deny. The drive home felt like an ache in my chest, each mile pulling me further from what I couldn't have. The silence stretched between us, heavy and charged, a tension that felt both thrilling and wrong. My fingers clutched the seatbelt, trembling with an urgency I couldn't ignore, my heart racing in a rhythm that felt dangerously alive. Each time I dared to steal a glance his way, I caught him watching me, a spark of something unspoken hanging in the air between us. Time and time again, his steady, assured eyes met mine, a silent challenge that whispered I was powerless to say no. Do you want to know why I keep my lips sealed? I finally dared to ask. You're scared to confront your own feelings, he said, his gaze fixed firmly ahead. His words left me vulnerable. It was real. I trembled at the thought of acknowledging the truth within me, that this irresistible draw was beyond my control. I closed my eyes, taking deep breaths, desperately trying to ignore these emotions. But every attempt to achieve tranquility eluded me. As we stepped through the door, the weight of reality pressed down on me, and I could no longer hide from what my heart had whispered all along. This day unveiled the truth I had buried deep within, even from my own heart. Julian pulled me in, an irresistible force I couldn't resist. It was more than just longing. It was a force that could unravel my entire world. I stepped into the house, heart racing, forcing myself not to glance back. His footsteps behind me mirrored the weight of my heart, a mix of longing and resolve. With the bags abandoned on the floor, I ascended the stairs, yearning for the bedroom door to shield me from the tempest swirling within. Yet, Even with the door firmly shut, I felt the thrill of what was just starting to unfold. The perilous dance went on, and my hope of breaking free was slipping away. The house was silent, an unsettling stillness hanging in the air. As Richard walked out for his meeting, the silence wrapped around me like a heavy blanket, suffocating and bittersweet. I felt his presence lingering in the house, yet I hadn't caught a glimpse of Julian all morning. The unspoken connection between us was growing too intense to ignore. I busied myself with the simplest of tasks, unloading the dishes, checking the mail, all the while my heart whispered secrets I dared not acknowledge. Yet, it all seemed hopeless. One question haunted my thoughts, a whisper of longing that felt both thrilling and wrong. What could he possibly be doing at this very moment? Every step I took felt like a dangerous gamble, knowing that the moment I crossed that threshold, I would find him waiting, a spark of something forbidden hanging in the air between us. And that thought sent a shiver of anxiety through me. By midday, the weight of solitude became too much to endure, and I found myself drawn downstairs, heart racing with a mix of longing and trepidation. The living room glowed with a gentle light, filtering through the expansive windows, casting shadows that whispered secrets of longing. Julian sat on the couch, his phone clutched tightly, a storm of emotions swirling within him. He casually rested his legs on the coffee table, a casual pose belying the tension in the air, while cradling a glass of water, the coolness contrasting with the heat of unspoken words between them. He appeared at ease, yet when his gaze met mine, I caught a fleeting glimpse of uncertainty in his eyes. "How sweet of you to finally leave your tower," he said with a teasing smirk, his feet still resting carelessly on the table. "Could you at least pretend to care about this place?" I shot back, my arms crossed tightly, a mix of frustration and something deeper swirling within me. My words cut through the air, laced with an edge, yet I understood the necessity of masking my turmoil from him. His gaze held me captive, a smile playing on his lips, yet a daring spark flickered in his eyes. "Respect is something you earn," he murmured, his gaze lingering on the glass he set down, a hint of something unspoken hanging in the air. Is his really happening? And who here has earned your respect? I shot back, the air thick with unspoken feelings, the tension between us crackling like electricity. He stood up, his present voice steady, revealing a raw honesty that pierced through the air. Unafraid of the truth that lingered between them, he stepped closer, and my heart raced, yet I remained frozen in place. His voice held a tension, a dangerous allure that sent shivers down her spine, igniting something deep within her. It was the kind that threatened to tear apart everything I had carefully constructed, and its intoxicating allure made me feel exposed and yearning. "Do you really believe you see all of me?" I asked, my voice barely steady, a flutter of longing hidden beneath the surface. "I can tell you're trying to escape who you really are," he said, his voice a gentle whisper, yet resolute. I laughed, a fragile sound that barely masked the electric tension swirling between us. Your confidence is overwhelming," I shot back. "Do you honestly believe the world revolves around you? Oh, can you honestly believe the world revolves solely around you? You truly pretend it isn't there." He challenged me, his gaze piercing through my walls, and I could feel my heart surrendering. I averted my gaze, yet he moved in my voice, barely a breath away. "Whisper to me that I'm mistaken. Whisper to me that this is just a fleeting moment, that it holds no weight in your heart." My fingers curled tightly, emotions swirling within me instead of pulling away from the tempest. I found myself whispering close to it. You have no idea what you're getting into. Julian, you have no idea what this could lead to," I whispered, my voice trembling, and I despised myself for it. "Do you feel it too?" he shot back, his voice cutting through the air, leaving me reeling. His unwavering presence made my irony and sarcasm feel fragile, as if they might shatter at any moment. He stepped closer, the air thick with unspoken tension, leaving no room for anything but the electric pull between us, and our gazes locked, and a whirlwind of emotions stirred between us, too powerful to name. We separated only when the air became too heavy, and I gasped for a breath that felt like a secret. As I gazed into his eyes, I found more than just longing. There was a deep, unspoken connection that felt both thrilling and wrong. He uncovered the truth within me, the piece I had kept buried, even from my own heart. "Can you feel it now?" he whispered softly. I stayed silent. I stepped back, the weight of reality crashing down around me. My fingers clutched the back of the chair, seeking support as my heart raced with a mix of longing and fear. "It feels so wrong," I breathed softly. "Perhaps," he whispered, his voice barely steady. "Yet, it's the undeniable truth." Those words shattered everything. I turned and fled the room, my hurried steps betraying the turmoil within me. In that fleeting moment, I felt the weight of temptation pulling me closer, whispering that once I surrendered, there would be no turning back. Once I was upstairs, I closed the bedroom door and leaned against it, my heart racing wildly. Caught between desire and the weight of secrecy, I realized the moment had slipped away, and there was no turning back now. The walls I had built around my heart crumbled, and I realized there was no turning back now. Days slipped by since that fateful evening in the living room, yet the tranquility remained elusive. Everything had spiraled into darkness. Each fleeting look from Julian sent shivers down my spine, and every step he took echoed with a tension that felt almost wrong. The air crackled with an unspoken tension, drawing us closer despite the risks. The hardest truth was that I could no longer pretend it didn't exist. Every morning unfolded in a familiar rhythm. I rose before Richard, quietly making breakfast, my hands moving mechanically as I fought against the thoughts that threatened to overwhelm me. But the instant I heard Julian's footsteps on the stairs, a thrill of anticipation coursed through me, igniting every nerve in my body. His mere presence enveloped the room, a silent weight that stirred something deep within her. At times, his gaze would linger on me, and I felt the weight of unspoken words, a silent promise hanging in the air. For reasons I couldn't grasp, that gaze ignited a whirlwind within me. Fear intertwined with excitement, and an insatiable longing that felt both thrilling and wrong. One evening, Richard lingered in the office, the air thick with unspoken tension. I lingered in the kitchen, my heart raced, torn between desire and the weight of unspoken rules, wondering what to create for dinner. The echo of footsteps behind me sent a shiver down my spine. Julian slipped in quietly, his heart racing as he searched through the fridge, the tension thick in the air. His silence hung in the air, thick with unspoken longing. My hands shook ever so slightly as I sliced the vegetables, each cut a reminder of the tension that lingered in the air. "What are you up to right now?" he finally asked, the fridge door clicking shut behind him. As I stirred the pot, my voice trembled, betraying the whirlwind of emotions beneath the surface. "Do you want me to be there for you?" He leaned in, the air thick with unspoken desires. I wanted to say no, but the way he stepped led me in, and I found myself agreeing. He stood close, the air thick with unspoken tension, as he picked up a knife and began to slice the onions, each cut echoing the complexity of our uncharted feelings. Every glance ignited a spark, and with each heartbeat, the air thickened with unspoken desire. His presence enveloped me, a heat that ignited something pulled within, even from a distance. In that fleeting moment, our fingers grazed as he passed me the knife, sending a shiver through my heart. His fingers brushed against mine, sending a rush of warmth through me, igniting a spark I knew we shouldn't feel. Our eyes met, a spark igniting in the silence that surrounded us. His gaze burned with intensity, a silent promise wrapped in concealing the reality. "I can't take this anymore," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "What is happening?" I asked, even though my heart already understood his unspoken words. "Being close to you, hiding the truth of what we feel," he whispered, placing the knife down gently. The urge to speak was there, but my voice faltered, trapped in a whirlwind of unspoken feelings. Instead, I took a step back, my heart racing as I longed for the closeness I knew I shouldn't crave. Yet, he took a step closer. "You're driving me wild," he murmured, his voice laced with longing. "Julian, we shouldn't," I whispered, a tremor coursing through me. "I kaboot," he quickly masked it longer. His words lingered in the air, soft yet resolute, carrying an unspoken weight that tugged at her heart. And then it happened once more. His lips brushed against mine, igniting a fire I knew I shouldn't feel. This kiss held a weight of longing. In that moment, nothing else mattered but the intense longing that pulled them together. His arms encircled my waist, drawing me close, and in that moment, every wall I had built began to fall away. I could no longer hide the truth of my heart. In that fleeting moment, I was with him, raw and vulnerable, stripped of all facades. Our kiss deepened, a desperate longing igniting between us. A surge of emotions overwhelmed me, leaving me breathless and conflicted. My hands found their way around his neck, and in that moment, I understood I had surrendered to a wild, intoxicating desire. The doorbell rang, breaking the stillness with a jolt, echoing like a heartbeat caught in a moment of longing. We pulled away, hearts racing. My heart raced, each beat echoing the thrill of what we dared to feel. Julian stepped back, his expression tight with unspoken feelings. Yet he masked it swiftly. "It's Richard," I breathed, my heart racing with a mix of fear and longing. His silence spoke volumes, a quiet agreement wrapped in unspoken longing. I smoothed my hair, brushed my lips, and hesitated at the door. As I opened the door, there he was, Richard, weary yet wearing a soft, almost secretive smile. "I'm sorry I'm late," he whispered, crossing the threshold with a hesitant smile. "It's intoxicating." "Did you share a moment in the kitchen?" "Yes," I whispered, my heart racing despite my efforts to appear composed. Julian stepped out of the kitchen, his expression unreadable, masking the turmoil beneath the surface. He cast a fleeting glance at his father before ascending the stairs, silence heavy between them. I stood there, watching him walk away, the air thick with unspoken words and a longing that felt almost wrong. That night, sleep eluded me once more. I lay next to Richard, wrapped in the hush of the room, our breaths mingling in the stillness. All I could think about was Julian, his intense gaze, the weight of his words, and the electric brush of his lips against mine. I felt the weight of our secret, a line we could never uncross. Yet, amidst the fear and guilt, a single, undeniable feeling remained. My heart raced as I lingered in the silence, yearning for what was to come. I found myself entangled in a perilous dance, each moment pulling me deeper into the thrall. The ache of guilt mingled with an undeniable longing. My heart raced, teetering on the edge of something I knew I shouldn't feel. In the past few days, moving through the house has been like tiptoeing through a secret world, each step fraught with unspoken tension. Each the touch of Richard's fingers sent shivers down my spine, and every whispered word enveloped my heart. It was like a secret, his very presence a tantalizing ache I couldn't ignore. He began to see the shift within me, even as I fought to maintain my facade. "You've changed, somehow," he whispered softly across the candlelit table. His voice was steady, yet a hint of longing lingered beneath the surface. Far away, I glanced up from my plate, attempting to mask the flutter in my chest. Far away. Don't say that. My heart is heavy with thoughts I can't share. Is your heart heavy with thoughts? Catherine, you're here all alone. Aren't you? What could be weighing so heavily on your heart? His smile was warm, yet his words dripped with unspoken longing. I remained silent. I remained quiet, unable to reveal the depths of what consumed me inside. The turmoil within me, the ache of guilt mingled with an undeniable longing. It was unraveling my very soul. Julian, however, was growing more daring. Unexpected notes appeared, stirring a mixture of warmth and confusion I couldn't easily explain. It was hidden away, a secret nestled among the jars of coffee on the kitchen shelf. "I can't help but crave your presence," it said. My hands shook with a mix of longing and fear as I read it. The second note lay hidden in my makeup bag, a secret waiting to be discovered. "You are my one secret reality." Every note ignited a spark in my heart, electric and undeniable. They abandoned me, caught between a rush of fear and a thrill I knew I shouldn't feel. I attempted to bury them, to cast them aside, but my heart wouldn't let me. In the quiet of my room, I find myself lost in their words, my heart racing with each line, a thrill that feels both exhilarating and wrong. One day, a note appeared on the bathroom mirror, whispering secrets that felt both thrilling and wrong. It was scrawled in a shade of red I seldom dared to wear. "Will you remember me when I am gone?" Those words cut deep into my heart. The thrill of it all was intoxicating, yet I felt the shadows closing in. Still, I couldn't pull away. A magnetic force drew me to him, overriding every ounce of logic and shame.